In a shared office setting, there are plenty of things to be suspicious of, like the office refrigerator. Is this even food? Was it ever? Oh no. This is worse than the Chinese food from last month. Don't do it, Linda. Oh, Linda did it. Recognizing suspicious malware in your office technology isn't always as easy as smelling a carton of funky stir-fry.
Very proud to be the president of Come and Go. I'm honored to be on this panel this evening, and I'm truly humbled to see my name up there with the likes of a living legend like Simon Estes. Chris, you mentioned some of our accomplishments recently. Been fortunate enough to get a number of opportunities such as this and media for the success we've had professionally and for some of the good that we've done in the community. And so I think if you were to look at what you see in my life, I think it's fair to make a few assumptions. But I want to talk about what you don't see in my life. And the truth is 2020 has been the hardest year of my life. I don't think I'm alone in saying that the events of this year have brought on things like depression and anxiety. So I'm going to use my platform tonight to talk about mental health because I think it gets under talked about. We talk a lot about physical health. You think about gym memberships and competitions and diets and exercise equipment, but I think mental health, unfortunately, has been stigmatized by our culture. And we've been ingrained and trained to believe that if you talk about mental health, you might be stigmatized, you might be made fun of. If you share things like, hey, I have depression or I have anxiety, you might get passed over for an opportunity or seen as unreliable or untrustworthy. And that's just not the case. We need to break down these barriers in our culture so that we can truly get to the real things that are important, and that's health and happiness. And if we're here today to talk about leadership, leadership is about courage. Leadership is about helping people. And how do you know how to help your people if you don't really know what's on their mind? And so I want to encourage you all as we lead groups, lead organizations, and lead our families to go first, because it's not going to be likely that somebody that has some of these struggles is just going to open up and take a risk. Those two things are incompatible with each other. And so as leaders, I want to encourage you all to be vulnerable, because that vulnerability will build trust, and that trust will build a psychological safety, and that will allow our teams and the people in our lives to open up. And so as you go back to work, wherever that might be for you, get real. Go beyond just the how you doing, oh, I'm good. How are you really doing? Because we need to make mental health a priority. And there's a number of things that we can do to support our mental health. Simple things like sleeping better, yoga, physical exercise, fresh air, time away from work and stress, all the way up to more helpful and professional assistance like therapy and mental health counseling. I'm very fortunate that 12 months ago, I decided to reach out and start doing therapy. I couldn't imagine where I would be right now with all the events that have happened in my life and in this world the last 365 days without the support of my therapist and of my wife and the joy that my beautiful daughter brings. But boy, I'll tell you what, it's hard. And frankly, we're under-equipped as people. Many of us are under-equipped as people to deal with the things that we have to face that are mentally challenging. We've all experienced trauma in our lives. We've all experienced loss and sorrow. And yet when we feel these emotions, we're told to keep that in. We're told that leadership is strength. We're told that if you open up about those things, people won't look at you the same. They won't look up to you. Well, if you're looking up to me here today, I want the message to be clear. You can do both, and it's okay to have these emotions because the struggle is real. 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year, and we're all handling this differently. And so as you lead and you go back to your organizations, go first, be vulnerable, open up, make your environment a safe one so that others can follow you, because you just don't know. There may be people in your life and on your teams that don't have the privileges that I have, and they may not have the resources available to them to seek the help that they need. You may be able to help and assist people in your life beyond just the day-to-day of the work that we do, and be able to help them through real struggle. So create that space, create that psychological safety with your people, go first, and lead with vulnerability. Because this year is challenging, these struggles are real, and we're all facing things differently. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak and share with you, and I'll cede the floor to the rest of the panelists.